Greetings and well met. Welcome to Stories by the Fireside. I am your host and narrator, Hailstorm, and today I shall read to you a portion of the wiki-page for the Imperium of Man, set in the universe of Warhammer 40,000. We continue with Imperial culture. The link for the page is in the description for your viewing pleasure. I have a disclaimer to make before we begin. I did not make nor contribute to the making of this wiki-page, nor am I affiliated with or endorsed by the makers of it or Games Workshop. We begin. Imperial culture, a legacy of strife. The human race of the 41st millennium bears deep scars upon their collective psyche thanks to the horrors of the Age of Strife, which ground on for almost 6 standard millennia. Mankind survived its ravages in only the most fragmented and desperate fashion, emerging from its shadows and into the Emperor's light as a species much changed. The collapse of humanity's interstellar society during the Age of Strife brought a violent end to millennia of human confidence. It completely shattered the species' prior sense of galactic destiny. Never before had there been a peril or challenge human ingenuity could not best. Worse, the dangers that laid mankind low came from within, unmarked until it was too late. The damage done to the gestalt human psyche by thousands of Terran years of galactic catastrophe ran so deep as to become instinct. Mistrust of curiosity and invention, of alien influence and psychic witchcraft predominated. Humanity became close-minded and violently conservative, desperate to avoid repetition of the mistakes that had led to the horrors and intense suffering of the Age of Strife. Where law and record-keeping failed, mythology and religion kept those fears alive. Perhaps this explains the fervor with which the Emperor's Great Crusade was greeted. Though, of course, countless warlords and isolationist societies fought his rule, the Emperor's unification of the human-settled galaxy brought a safe and secular comfort that banished the ghosts haunting the human soul. If this is true, then it would also explain why the Emperor's fall during the Horus Heresy saw those spectres rush back in with such vengeance. Fearful and bereft of the Emperor's conscious guidance after his interment within the Golden Throne, humanity sought strength in the blind zealotry that the Emperor himself had so assiduously discouraged through the spread of the imperial truth, becoming ever more entrenched in their superstitions over time. The Age of Strife even scarred the galaxy itself. Countless worlds were reduced to inimical wastelands, or overrun by dangerous living weapons. Others were left haunted by the Cyclopean ruins of lost endeavor, vast halos of decaying orbital machinery, looming spires crackling with strange energies, echoing tech vaults still concealing deadly threats behind bulkheads buried in the dust of ages. Every time the Imperium discovers another such remnant of humanity's former glory, it is but another reminder of the hubris that damned mankind, and the dangers of daring to hope in such a dark and terrible age as the 41st millennium. Technophobia. The Imperium of Man of the 41st millennium is a deeply superstitious society, its people bound in shackles of ignorance and blinded against dangerous truths. Atavistic terror and religious disgust characterized its attitudes to scientific and technological innovation, stemming from the barely remembered horrors of the Age of Technology and Age of Strife. Advanced technology is but dimly understood by the mass of humanity, be they erudite scholars, military heroes, the pilots of spacecraft, or ragged serfs. The majority of mankind attributes the operation of technology to fickle, animistic, machine spirits that must be besieged with the proper rituals of activation and appeased with offerings of sanctified oil, sacred unguents, and the like. Only the magi of the Adeptus Mechanicus possess true repositories of technological and scientific lore. They hoard all they have gathered in towering data stacks deep within the industrial sprawls of their fortified factory planets, known as Forge Worlds. Yet even these insular tech priests make no distinction between technical blueprint and sacred scripture, component or holy relic. Their prayers are delivered in blaring binary cant. their repairs conducted as incense-wreathed rituals, and the construction of the revered machines performed by rote rather than understanding. Experimentation and invention are considered tantamount to heresy. The doctrines of the machine god, the Omnissiah, grew out of the terrors of the Age of Strife, and warned of the dangers of rampant innovation. Knowledge lost to the ravages of time remains lost, for the terror of tech heresy, or at least of its discovery and the subsequent punishment, is greater by far than the dread of ignorance. For all this, the Adeptus Mechanicus holds vast power in the Imperium, which is reliant upon advanced technology to survive. There is a reason that worship of the Omnissiah is the only officially tolerated religion besides the Imperial Creed. Nor do the Adeptus Mechanicus view the acquisition of lost technologies, archaeotech, to be in any way equivalent to the sin of fashioning devices anew. There is an irony long lost in the tech priests, that they hunt rapaciously for even the slightest fragments of ancient human artifice, many of which are examples of the very dark age technologies so reviled by their own creeds. Such relics of the Omnissiah are viewed as sacred treasures. Armies are readily sacrificed to ensure their acquisition. Such relics of the Omnissiah are viewed as sacred treasures. Armies are readily sacrificed to ensure their acquisition. Most precious of all are the remnants of standard template construct machines that have survived the millennia. These remarkable STC databases allow auto-fabrication of devices that humanity can well use in their war for survival. Many of the Imperium's most ubiquitous weapons and war engines are still produced in this fashion. The Imperial Creed is a damning of unsanctioned technology as it is of mutation or rebellion against the Emperor. Many allegorical parables warn against the horrors of artificial general intelligence. Such thinking machines are regarded with horror and are banned even amongst the Adeptus Mechanicus. The average Imperial citizen views tech heresy as akin to witchcraft and reacts with equal intolerance to either. Some human worlds play host to ancient sites where the remains of Dark Age technology lurk, but these are shunned as cursed by those forced to live in their shadows. Xenos technology is even further mistrusted. Even the most replicable and galaxy-changing innovations are typically shunned if they are of alien origin. There are exceptions. Dangerous archaeotech finds its way up from the lawless roots of hive cities or mine workings after being excavated by labor gangs. Frontier world colonists, who take a more pragmatic approach to survival than most, trade with neighboring Xenos species, and in so doing introduce xenotech to the sprawling imperial black markets. Such dangerous prizes are sought out by various orders of the Inquisition, of course, as are the suppliers, for the damage that these deviant devices can cause in the wrong hands does not bear imagining. This is where we end. There will be a continuation of this particular reading session, so stay tuned for the future. Thank you for coming, and may you all have a pleasant day or night.